What's good, everybody? It's John. I'll come back at y'all in another video. So here for this video is actually going to be a more interesting, unique video. Just because in this video, there's an excerpt that inspired this conversation here, and it also ties into the previous video that I posted, which is talking about gossiping. Right? The video is titled "Here's Why You Need to Gossip Less and Focus More." So if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you watch that video because this one kind of overlaps with that main idea of just like gossiping and just speaking about things, right? Being aware of like what you're talking about. This video here is inspired by the book The Secret. So you guys have probably read The Secret or watched the movie The Secret, right? If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's from the author Rhonda Byrne. And here I have a paragraph that I'm going to read to you guys from The Secret that's referring to illness. And essentially, for you to understand that your thoughts can cure illness. And so before I jump into my thoughts, right, I want to read the excerpt for you guys here. So I have it pulled up on my laptop right here. So it says, quote, "One of the things that people often do when they have an illness is talk about it all the time. That's because they're thinking about it all the time. So they're just verbalizing their thoughts. If you're feeling a little unwell, don't talk about it unless you want more of it. Know that your thoughts was responsible and repeat as often as you can. Quote, I feel wonderful. I feel so good. And really feel it. If you are not feeling great and someone asks you, how are you feeling? Just be grateful that the person has reminded you to think thoughts of feeling well. Speak only the words of what you want." So in short, right, if you have the book The Secret, this is on page 131 and pages 132, talking about illness, helping people understand that your thoughts are what creates everything in your life and your existence. And if people experience illness and diseases, it's because they were not thinking thoughts of perfection. They were thinking imperfect thoughts, which is thoughts that create fear, concern, worry, etc., etc. So essentially that disease or the illness was attractive because the person was thinking thoughts that brought that to them, right? Which are negative thoughts, right? Essentially, if you think of the word disease, if you hyphenate it, dis-ease, dis at the beginning of a word where it says dis, like dis, that usually means not, right? So dis-ease, the word ease, of course, meaning relaxed. If it's dis-ease, that's a body that's not at ease, which makes sense, right? When someone is experiencing a disease, chances are they're experiencing pain, discomfort, things like that, right? So disease is nothing more than just a body that's not at ease. And when you think thoughts of perfection, disease can exist, because when you think thoughts of perfection, your body feels good, your body feels amazing, and then when your body feels amazing, that gets manifested across the entire body from head to toe, right? So this is why, and if you have the book The Secret, you can read it, or I'm sure they have audiobooks and even the movies, right? This is why there's several people who were diagnosed with a terminal illness and were only told that they have a set amount of time to live. And so with that, they decided to just watch funny movies and laugh, because if they were told that they were going to be gone soon, they might as well just enjoy the rest of the time that they have. So they were just laughing. And long story short, they were eventually cured. Their body magically cured themselves. It was, labeled as a miracle, even though I and a lot of people out there, hopefully you as a viewer, know why the body cured itself, because when the body's feeling good and laughing, that is the best, happiest state that it can be in. And so disease can exist because the body is at ease, right? So that's just a little bit of background information for that. But this paragraph right here, it says, if you're feeling sick or unwell, a lot of times when people have an illness, they talk about it all the time. And that's key. That's sort of like gossiping. Even though usually gossiping is talking about someone else's life, people like to gossip about their own lives as well. People love talking about themselves and giving other people updates of what's going on. And so it's pretty common for someone to go down with an illness, and that's the first thing that they share with people. And they share it with literally everyone that they cross paths with. Say, hey, I feel this. Hey, I feel this. Hey, I feel this. This is what's going on. And it's the human side. I understand you want to give people updates if you're not feeling well. You want to let people know that so that one, you might not get bothered by them. Some people some people do that to get like sympathy from other people. But it, for a lot of people, when they get sick, that's sort of the new juicy story that they have in their lives, the new update, right? So then they just feel inclined to share it with other people. And they need to realize that if you're feeling that way and you're talking about it and you're sharing it all the time, then you're sharing about it because you're thinking about it. You're thinking about the sickness and you're talking about it. And you don't necessarily feel good telling other people that you're sick. So you're sort of reliving it over and over and over, talking about it nonstop, right? Here in the excerpt that I share with you, it says, know that your thoughts was responsible for the illness and repeat as often as you can, I feel wonderful, I feel so good, and feel it. What they're saying is to speak only the words of what you want. When you're sick, it's very likely that you want to feel healthy. So if you say that you feel wonderful, you feel so good, and you really feel it, that's when you begin feeling good so that your body can begin curing itself and ridding the system of the illness. The same idea with the people who were, diagnosed as having a terminal illness. They decided to laugh, so their body can feel good. And with their body feeling so good, their body was experiencing perfection and they were at ease so that the illness could no longer exist. So that's how it got flushed out of their system. It's the same idea here. If you're not feeling well, you want to, as far as like with an illness, right? You want to try to do what you can to have your body feel good so that it can, rid the system of the illness. And I love here that it ends a paragraph saying, speak only the words of what you want. When you're sick, chances are you don't want to be sick, right? You want to feel healthy. You want to feel back to normal. You want your body to feel good. So start talking about it. What you can also do, because I know that it might not feel good to lie when you have an illness and say you feel good, you feel wonderful, right? If you don't actually feel that way, you can say that you're working towards feeling well, that you're on track to speedy recovery. Because even then, that is a more truthful statement that probably have you feeling a lot better than to try to put on a fake smile and say you feel wonderful, right? If you're saying you're working towards a speedy recovery, that's an accurate statement because you know that you'll be getting better soon. So you can also say that, right? You want to speak only the words of what you want, right? What is the goal of all of this, right? Where is that you want to be, the place that you want to be? The other thing that I want to highlight about this video is understanding what you're actually saying and what you're talking about. Because a lot of times what you're saying and what you're speaking is essentially making you relive whatever you've gone through. Here's this perfect example. There can be somebody who is trying to cross the street, and then as soon as you're about to take a step, someone on a bicycle going really fast just cuts you off and cuts right in front of you. And of course that can be a shock, because if you were to take a few more steps forward, it could have been possible that you could have gotten into an accident with somebody on the bike, and then obviously you would have been in pain and all these things. So you probably felt anger and frustration if someone just cut you off going really fast on a bicycle. Or could be another example, if you're waiting at a red light and then the light changes to green, and so of course you start moving forward, right? You put your foot on the gas, and then someone runs a red light on the intersection and completely cuts you off, and you slammed on the brakes, and had you not slammed on the brakes, you could have gotten into the accident because someone else ran the red light. Of course, in a moment like that, you'd probably be in shock, afraid, angry, frustrated, right? Because that could be a very traumatizing experience for a lot of people. After having experienced a situation like that, it is rather common for people to go home, share that same story with each of their family members one at a time, as soon as they come home or whatever. And then they can see a text message from their friend, their best friend, asking them how things are going, whatever. And then they'll call their best friend and share the same story about how someone cut them off, and that they almost got into an accident, this and that. And then the next day they'll show up in work, and then when someone asks you, how's your day going and how things have been, you share that same story with them, how you almost got into accident. And so it's like you experience that event one time that had you frustrated, angry, had you left you in shock, potentially traumatized you to some degree, right? Like a potentially traumatizing experience. And then you shared it with God knows how many people, right? Your family members at home, your best friend, the people at work, right? Like, and you share that story so many times. That one event, you essentially relived it so many more times, and you reliving it in your mind, you replaying that event, made you feel angry, frustrated, in shock, all these feelings that you don't want to feel. But most people don't think of it that way. Most people don't even think about what they're doing whatsoever. It's like, that wasn't a desirable event because you got mad at what happened, you were frustrated. But yet you're constantly sharing, you're constantly speaking about what you don't want, because you don't want an event like that to happen again. You don't want things like that to repeat, but yet you're speaking that into existence. This ties into the excerpt that I read regarding the health, right? Regarding the illness. People will experience the illness and talk about it endlessly. How is that helping you or serving you? If you've experienced the incident where someone ran a red light and cut you off and, almost got into an accident, why are you sharing that story over and over and over with people just so you can have a juicy story to share? It's not helping you. How is that helping you in any way, shape, or form? It's just making you feel angry again. You want to try your best to feel happy, to feel as good as you can at all times. You want to speak only the words of what you want. And that's what I'm getting at. That's the main idea here. Speak only the words of what you want. You can let that go. You can let that story go. After an incident like that happens, you can feel immediate anger and frustration, but then you can take a deep breath and be grateful that you're still safe, that everything worked itself out. That's not unheard of. That's a perspective that you can have, right? Events that happen just are. It's about our perspective in it. You can be happy and grateful that you came out healthy, that you came out, intact. You came out without pain, like, that you're still healthy, that you're perfectly fine. You can be grateful that happened, even if it wasn't your fault, right? Even if you did everything right. You can be grateful about that. A lot of times when I have a stuffy nose, right? And this for a lot of people, you miss having a clear nose, right? When you can't breathe out of your nose, you miss how it used to be when you can breathe out of your nose and have clear airways. You can be grateful for having a clear nose, right? Like, it's little things like that. You can be grateful about anything in any situation. You can always find something to be happy about. You can always find the good in any situation. So here, in this case, you want to speak only the words of what you want. Begin doing that. Stop sharing the stories about what you don't want, or the bad thing, the quote unquote bad things that happen to you, the negative experiences, because that's not serving you, it's not helping you. You're just reliving the same thing over and over, and it's going to elicit the same emotions, which are negative emotions, which aren't helping you. So speak only the words of what you want. And start doing that more often, so then you can begin creating the life that you actually want. And that's your true power that thoughts can cure. So once again, guys, that wraps up the video. This is Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.